What's up, everyone? This is Duke Dodson from Graybos, and you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show, part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network. And remember, there is no off-season.
This is Mark Aaron from WSB Radio in Atlanta, and you're listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show, part of the NoOffSeason.com Sports Card Network, the #1 place for advice on how to make money flipping sports cards. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, there is no off-season.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with NoOffSeason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. Don't forget to get a free 30-day trial at NoOffSeason.com today to help you make money flipping sports cards, build your sports card investment portfolio, get unlimited advice from our experts, and take Sports Card School to navigate the hobby. That's NoOffSeason.com. Get your free 30-day trial today. All the data we use on the Sports Card Strategy Show is from MarketMoversApp.com. Use code NOOFFSEASON at MarketMoversApp.com to get 20% off for life after a free 14-day trial. All right, let's get to the Sports Card Strategy. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday, September 23rd. I'm Paul Hickey. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show, NoOffSeason.com fam. Great to be with you again. I am constantly on the grind. It's my mission to figure out ways to help you make money flipping sports cards. So I'm constantly trying new things and evaluating how well things that I do are working for me so that I can weed out what doesn't work and focus in on what does work. And the thing that I love about this hobby is that changes all the time, which is why we bring you the Sports Card Strategy Show not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 7 times a week. We have 5 daily market updates, Monday through Friday, all the different sports. And then we have the Monday and Wednesday full episodes. This is Monday's full episode. So today we're going to talk about the top sports card opportunities to buy, raw, and grade. We're going to focus on baseball today. Top baseball cards to buy, raw, and grade. That is courtesy of our formula-based sports card rankings at NoOffSeason.com. And we're going to talk about selling early for cash at card shows versus waiting until the selling markers. I'll explain later on. But first, let's say hello to those of you in the live chat at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Koa Carrero in the house. Scott Huff says, hey, first time watching live. Welcome, Scott. Field Cards, what's up? Can't believe the Chiefs got helped out one more time last night on Sunday Night Football. Over on IG at Sports Card Strategy, G23 Cards, The Michael J, Coobs 381, Brian Callahan, MJSK 808, Adrian Charlie, Mercury Unlimited, A. Franco Tejas, V-Bros Collectibles, Card Craze 02. What's up, everybody over there on IG at Sports Card Strategy? Benton Potts, sup? Going on? PL Sports Cards, what's good? The NoOffSeason.com fam is good. And like I mentioned a minute ago, we are always trying new things to see if it's a new sports card strategy to help you make money flipping sports cards. And one of the things that I can validate that continues to work for me that I have talked about for about the last month is buying these Panini Instant cards. Everybody, literally, I just bought the Marvin Harrison Panini Instant and the Malik Neighbors Panini Instant. So those are honestly their first 2 licensed Panini cards. So I just wanted to give everybody the update there. I have purchased them. There still should be time for you all to purchase them and make money either on pre-sales or grading at PSA, grading at CGC. CGC has a much quicker turnaround time than PSA, so I do think there's a play there. CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards, from the crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing. CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to CGC Cards panini.com to start grading today. So full disclosure, I will be sending some of my Panini Instants that arrive soon to CGC. I will be sending some of them to PSA, and I am pre-selling some of them. I've purchased pretty much all the Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels cards out there from Panini Instant and from Topps Now. I purchased the Malik Neighbors Topps Now, and I purchased the Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. Panini Instants today. So I'm excited about getting those cards. The pre-sales have been going very, very well. And so I'm going to put together a report probably sometime in October, November at nooffseason.com. For those of you who are premium members at nooffseason.com, you're going to get this full report on how much money I made on all the Panini Instants, how much money I made in 2024 on all of my raw to grade plays, how much money I made on my already graded plays, and we'll break down not only plays, but player by player to see where I put my money and what worked best. You know, what players worked best, what plays worked best. And I think that is the most important thing, to be constantly evaluating ourselves and looking at what works, what doesn't work. Cole Colicchio in the house. Who's your card guy in the house? Hello to both of you. Speaking of constantly evaluating yourself, I want to talk about something. I want to talk about Arch Manning. Okay. I want to talk about Arch Manning because I was one of the first people in the hobby to say, go out and buy Arch Manning cards. We had Panini Prism on demand. They're not technically Panini Instant, but they were online print on demand at paniniamerica.net. We bought all those cards. We told everybody in the Sports Card Strategy Show audience and the nooffseason.com fam to buy those cards. We made plays. We graded them at PSA. We sold them on eBay. Some of them we sold at card shows. And then we did that with his Saturday Star Signatures cards with the Rated Prospect logo on them. We did it with his National cards from the 2023 National. Arch Manning has had so many different cards. He has a ridiculous amount of cards out. He's been in Chronicles National Treasures. He's been in Impeccable. He's been in all the collegiate Panini releases with autos. So Arch Manning has no shortage of cards out there. And you don't need to go to any of the non-licensed companies like the Leafs of the world to get Arch Manning cards. You just go directly to Panini, which is what I like. I like that because I personally like licensed cards. I think the data has shown that they do better on the secondary market. So when we're looking at collegiate cards, I like the licensed variety. And I'm not just talking about player licensed. I like the ability to have a university licensed card as well, potentially. So only in the circumstance where there are no university licensed cards or collegiate licensed cards do I go for a top player on a player only licensed card. But before we get into baseball, I want to talk about real quick Arch Manning and some of the sales that I made for Arch Manning. So what you're seeing here on the screen now, if you're watching at youtube.com/Paul Hickey, and if you're listening on Apple and Spotify, I know that's most of you. That's where our biggest audience is you're seeing my dashboard at nooffseason.com, my personal dashboard, and one-on-one members currently get this dashboard. So if you're interested in being a one-on-one member, email me at paul@nooffseason.com. We can talk about that. But I've made some profit on Arch Manning. Now, I've made probably about $500 total on Arch Manning. Now, a couple of my Arch Manning cards, my Saturday Star Signature Rated Prospect Auto PSA 9s, I had two of them. I bought them for $240 all in, and I sold them each for $270. So I made a total of $60 on those two cards. I cashed out at the National. I sold a bunch of my cards at the National in person for a bunch of different reasons. I wanted some cash. I was up on the cards that I sold, and I wanted to avoid marketplace fees. Okay, so I know a lot of you can empathize with this. I know a lot of you do this, but I know a lot of you are probably saying, well, Paul, why didn't you hold until the selling marker? And on the National Treasures Collegiate Optic Hollow Rated Prospect Auto PSA 9, I made $70. So I made a total on all of these cards of about $130. Now, if you look at the data, and I'm going to go over to Market Movers real quick, just his Saturday Star Signatures alone are selling for $563 pretty consistently. So basically what I'm telling you is I sold 2 cards for $270 each when I could have sold each card for $563 each pretty easily right now. And I was one of the first people out there saying, go buy Arch Manning cards and wait until his first start at Texas to sell them. Well, I'm fully admitting to you that I wasn't patient enough to execute that play myself. I sold for a profit in July. Was I a little bit worried? Was I a little bit regretful potentially that he could pop off as the starter at the University of Texas and that this could happen to his card? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a natural reaction. It's a natural feeling that we all experience in this hobby when we're trying to make money flipping sports cards. So, am I trying to rationalize this on the Sports Card Strategy Show? Maybe a little bit, but let's talk through it. Was it an L for me? Let me know in the comments below at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Was it an L for me? Now, after the marketplace fees, I probably realistically would have netted $150 per card. So I could have walked away with $300 profit on a play that I knew was going to happen versus $60 total profit back in July when I took this money. So $60, obviously a lot less than $300, right? We're in it for trying to maximize our profits. We're in it for trying to maximize our returns. Am I a little bit mad at myself that I didn't hold? Sure. Now, PL Sports Cards in the live chat says making profit equals a win always. And Thomas McCauley says you made money. That's a W. I love you, fam. I love you for saying that because I definitely feel that way. I definitely feel that way. And thank you for the two of you for jumping in and saying, good work, Paul. You made money. That's a W. Because I would have told all of you the same thing. I would have said, look, don't feel the regret. Don't feel the pain. Don't worry about it too much. That's why we're in the game. Now, should I have maybe held one of them back? Sure. And we've talked about that. We've talked about this recently with some other examples. Caitlin Clark was the example we talked about a couple weeks ago with Lefty on the Wednesday show. Should I have held a couple Caitlin Clark cards back? Benton Potts says win's a win. So thank you again. More justification. I appreciate you guys. There's probably some of you screaming at your podcast apps right now saying, oh, you loser, Paul. You didn't do what you said you were going to do. You took the money early. You should have held at least one or two back. That's what you would have told us to do, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. We can look at it that way. And I can take my loss of 200. It's basically I could have been up $240 more, right? I can take that on the chin. And here's why. Because Benton Potts brings up a good point. He says it could have been the reverse if he got hurt. And that's exactly where I was going, Benton. So thank you so much for helping me make that transition. Joe Burrow Optic was a card that I also sold at the same time that I sold that Arch Manning. And I sold my Joe Burrow Optic for a profit of $144 because I bought the Joe Burrow Optic Hollow. This is a Joe Burrow Optic Hollow PSA 10, by the way. I bought it for $356 last December when Joe Burrow was hurt. I sold it for $500 in the same overall transaction that I sold those Arch Manning cards. So that's a net profit of $144. And I didn't have to pay the marketplace fees. Well, that Joe Burrow card has sold for $414 most recently. Now, there have been a couple sales over $500. But with the marketplace, but again, I sold mine for $500 without having to pay the marketplace fees. So even if I would have sold that Joe Burrow card for over $500, I definitely would have made less profit, okay, than I did selling it at the National. So for all of you out there saying a win's a win, you took the money, I agree with you, because right now, if I were to try to sell the Joe Burrow Optic Holo PSA 10 at $414, which is what its current market value is, and this is how you have to look at it, I'd be at a break even. I'd be at a break even on that Joe Burrow card. But I profited on both of those cards, and I walked away with the money. So, and I ask you this. For the Arch Manning card to have gone up, it took a Quinn Ewers injury, and not only that, but it took a 72-yard Arch Manning TD run in that same game, right, for it to have gone up. And then Joe Burrow getting off to a bit of a slow start here at the beginning of the 2024 season is not really what we expected. It's not what I expected. I didn't expect any of those things to happen. And that's why I sell my cards early and I get out early. That's why I sell my cards when I'm up and I can take the money, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know what's going to happen next on the field, and we can't control that stuff. And we can't control the market either, by the way. But what we can do is control when we sell. And if we sell when we're up, then we're always going to win, right? So RL says it's never wrong to pull the profits. Camille Porter is in the house for the first time, making it live. Sorry, Carmel Porter. Thanks, Carmel, for joining. So to me, this is why you always take the money, because you don't know what's going to happen. And you can control certain things. And when you can control pulling your money out for a profit, I think you can do it. You should do it, because you never know what's going to happen, and you can't control what happens on the field. You can't control what happens in other human beings' lives, but you can control what happens to a certain extent in yours. And Interner is in the house. Good to see Interner. Interner, a lot of the time, is back in the lab working on some of our formula-based rankings for us. What's up, Interner? Good to see you. Thanks for all your help. Terry Coleman, B-Mart Cards, Mooshok Card 7, Matt Ballantyne, Texas Heat Card Shop. He says, yeah, let's talk about Arch. What are you guys doing with Arch? I think it's a sell. Text sports cards to 1-833-992-5727. Not that Arch's prices won't continue to go up. Not that Arch won't see a dip and then come back up again where we can buy back in. Not that I don't believe in Arch. I definitely believe in Arch. I just think the market tells me now's a sell. Sell Arch. The Real J-Rod 79, Pierre Abry, Red River Card Co., Thomas McCauley on both. Sports Card Strategy on Instagram and youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Southie 86, W24 Sports, Scott Van Wart, Sports Cards PS, Cy Trading Cards, Canines by Chris. What's up? Johnny Utah, Kayak Gator, Big Pat Card Lab, Amicia Sports Cards, Matt Solomon. Matt Solomon is a loyal premium member of NoOffSeason.com. Bridge City Sports Cards. The baseball buy you did not miss. It's coming up right now. Terry Coleman and G. Jerry. Troy Bowers says never go broke taking a profit. That's right, brother. All right. So I know many of you have tuned in due to the title of this show, which is top baseball cards to buy raw and grade. So let's get into it. And I want to give a quick thanks to Skeeter Robinson. Skeeter is a loyal premium member of NoOffSeason.com, and Skeeter sort of inspired this episode with a question he had in the premium pod recently about some of these cards. Skeeter's always thinking ahead, as are many of our premium members always thinking ahead. And so he was asking about some of the baseball cards that just came out from a rookie standpoint in the Topps Chrome release. And I thought, let's run these through the formula and let's talk about it on a Monday episode, because we don't talk baseball as much as we talk football and basketball here on the Sports Card Strategy Show. So let's get into it. Jackson Churio was a guy that we endorsed big time in all of 2023 as a prospect to buy and then sell at his call up. His prices didn't really crescendo the way that we thought they would so that you could crystallize massive profits during the call up. But many of you made money on Jackson Chourio. I made money on Jackson Chourio. I didn't make as much money as I would have liked to on Jackson Chourio, but that's okay. There's an opportunity to make some more money on Jackson Chourio, and it's by buying his 2024 Topps Chrome 161 base raw and getting it graded at PSA. Now, there's not huge upside in a PSA 10, and there's only a 39 early results on the gem rate because not many of these have been graded yet, but early results on the gem rate, there's only a 39% gem rate on these cards. But if you're looking at a gemmable copy, there's some upside because $4, and there's an MLB special right now at PSA, so you can save a little bit of money on the MLB special. $60 in PSA 10 upside is not bad. Jackson Chourio looks pretty good going into the playoffs and could look even better from a sports card standpoint heading into his second season in Milwaukee in March 2025. We don't know what his PSA 10 pricing will be then, but if he gets off to a hot start or there's some hype around him, it could stay at that $60 price point or go up even higher depending on how he plays. And there's not massive ROI potential right now per the formula because you got to the formula builds in your marketplace fees on the back end sale. It builds in your shipping, your tax and all that. But at a $4 target cost for just the card, there's a 4% ROI grading it at PSA. So not bad. What looks a little bit better, though, is fellow rookie Jackson Holliday. Jackson Holliday's 2024 Topps Chrome 88 Refractor Raw has only a $9 buy-in point right now. And it has a $67.50 upside based on the most recent PSA 10 comp. And it has a better gem rate, 51% gem rate. So the Jackson Holliday 2024 Topps Chrome 88 Refractor Raw would be the better play among those two Jacksons out of the 2024 Topps Chrome release. 19% ROI on that card. So much better than the Jackson Chourio. Now, there's a card that has significantly higher upside, and it's the third Jackson Merrill. So Jackson Merrill also has a rookie card in the 2024 Topps Chrome 207 is the card. Topps Chrome release. 207 base raw. $3 right now. $3 buy-in point. And a much higher PSA 10 upside on that card. $90 PSA 10 upside on that card. Only a 44% gem rate, but all things considered, 64% ROI on the Jackson Merrill 2024 Topps Chrome 207 base raw. Now, all the premium members at nooffseason.com got this ahead of you guys because they're paying for it. But Skeeter Robinson got it on the premium pod last week, and anybody who checked the formula-based sports card rankings over the weekend got this information as well. Now, there's a couple of other cards that I believe I will probably be partaking in as well. My Detroit Tigers are hot right now. They're hot right now. They may even make a wild card, which is insane considering how young they are, considering how bad they've been recently, and considering how guys like Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green really haven't materialized into the top tier MLB players that many thought they would as prospects. But they've got Jace Young, the younger brother of Josh. They've got Colt Keith. And one guy that is not playing for them yet, but that was drafted high in the 2023 MLB draft, and the formula has always loved, is Max Clark. Now, we haven't always loved Max Clark as a player, but the hobby has loved Max Clark, and that's what matters. The market has loved Max Clark, and that's what matters. The formula has loved Max Clark, and that's what matters more than anything, because Max Clark, his 2023 Bowman Draft Chrome Auto Refractor first, out of 2023 Bowman Draft has a $240 buy-in point, a 55% gem rate, and a $650 upside in a PSA 10. And oh, by the way, it sells for $305 in a PSA 9. So you can almost profit on a PSA 9. That, my friends, results in a 44% ROI on that raw to grade play at PSA. Max Clark, 2023 Bowman Draft Chrome First Auto Refractor. Chad Dyer in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Sorry you're a Twins fan. Look, I've been a Tigers fan my whole life. It's been very, very hard being a Tigers fan most years. Most years. Good to see you, my brother. But an even better play is to not spring for the refractor. And this is why I love the formula, because our rankings at nooffseason.com are based on this formula. And we look at things like, just because a PSA 10 sells for more in a refractor out of $499 auto than it does for a base chrome auto, that doesn't mean it's the play. You have to look at the math around what's the likelihood of being able to get a gem. Is there more upside in a raw to PSA 10 on the non-refractor? And what I mean by that is, what's the raw buy-in point compared to the PSA 10 upside? And that's what the formula helps us do, because Max Clark, his 2023 Bowman Draft Chrome Auto, first non-refractor, is only $123 buy-in point, but it still has the upside of a $500 PSA 10 sale. And in PSA 9, it sells for $184. So you have to love that over the refractor because it costs less and it still has the upside. And it has a 50% gem rate. So the formula tells us that an 80% ROI is likely on the Max Clark 2023 Bowman Draft First Chrome Base Auto. All right. Now, I know a lot of you want to talk about Shohei Ohtani, right? Because Shohei Ohtani just did another thing that no one else has ever done. He hit his 50th and 51st home runs and stole his 50th and 51st bases in the same game while almost hitting for the cycle, hitting 3 home runs and driving in 10 runs. Ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. And, oh, by the way, he's like the best pitcher in the league, not pitching this year because of Tommy John surgery. So it's insane. And it's insane what his card market is going to do next year when he's hitting and pitching, because he's still Shohei Ohtani. So what's going to happen with Shohei Ohtani's market is what always happens with everyone's market every year in the market cycles, is it's going to dip a little bit at some point. Not huge, probably not huge because of what he's done this year, but it's going to dip at some point based on the card, and then it's going to go back up again. Now, right now is clearly, I looked at the data today on the baseball card market update. You can go check out the baseball card market update on the Sports Card Strategy feed at youtube.com/Paul Hickey or at nooffseason.com. I looked at the data. It's time, almost regardless of what Shohei Ohtani card you have, to sell. Okay? But there's some raw to grade plays. Now, the data can be deceiving because the PSA 10s are at their maximum upside right now. So if you were to go buy these raw cards at the prices that the raw cards are at, you'd probably be overpaying for the raw card with an unlikely PSA 10 upside of what I'm about to tell you because they're at their peak. But I want to share this data. If you're looking at our formula-based rankings, I just want to share this data because I want you to proceed with caution on the following 3 cards. Now, if you can get a gemmable version of what I'm talking about, you're going to be okay. But you would be buying in at the maximum point for a raw card and likely not get it back from PSA in time to sell it at its peak value right now. And if that doesn't make sense, you should definitely join nooffseason.com and ask a question at nooffseason.com/ask. And I'll break it down for you. You get a free 30-day trial. But Shohei Ohtani's 2018 Bowman 49 base is a $25 card right now. It's a paper card. So it's going to be hard to find a gemmable version of that because it's from 2018. There's probably been a ton graded. It has a 45% gem rate. but it does have $157 upside in a PSA 10 and a $42 upside in a PSA 9, which makes it a 55% ROI. Now, Shohei Ohtani's 2018 Topps Chrome 150 base pitching is another great card. $97 buy-in point raw, $240 selling point in a PSA 10, and $130 kind of a break even after grading and marketplace fees in PSA 9. But that's a good play too, 47% ROI. And then the one that I really, really like, Shohei Ohtani's 2018 Topps Chrome 1983 Topps. It's a pitching card. It's 83T6 is the number. $98 buy-in point, and probably the biggest upside in a PSA 10. It's over $400 right now. It's over $400 right now. So it's going to be around that 50% ROI. And, you know, I don't think you're going to lose if you buy into Shohei raw to grade. I think you could lose if you buy into Shohei already graded right now. I think it's sell alert time on Shohei, and then there should be opportunity to buy back in during the baseball offseason, December, most likely. And then those prices should rise again back in March. So I'm going to be buying a lot of Shohei in probably December, January, and then selling in probably April, May, June when he's hitting and pitching. Bill Bain, what's going on? Good to see you. And Emo Cards. Good to see you guys. Thanks for jumping into the live chat here. John Collette, 1899. What cards have highest gem rate that are good buys, lower cost? Say less than $200, but have decent ROI. I've already answered that question, my man. And if you want more, go to nooffseason.com. Formula-based sports card rankings have all of that. The only thing in the hobby that ranks sports cards against each other based on ROI percentage, which is the most important thing. All right, so one thing that I've started to dabble in, and our first foray into it went really, really well, is repack product. So I want to know, how do you guys all feel about repack products? And I also want to know if you're interested in buying into our repack product. It's called High Ceiling, High Floor. And it's in partnership with M. Pokeworld, who is a college student right now, Maddox. And he's a very, very, very great human being and very good at putting together a repack checklist. And I'll explain why. So Maddox attends just about every major card show every weekend. And he has access. He has a lot of access to these cards that many of us won't get because we have full-time jobs, families, etc. And the thing I like about our repack product versus other repack products is that we can make it a high floor because we understand what cards are low right now that are about to go up in value. So even the cards on our checklist that aren't the hits have a solid probability that they're going to go up in value, right? There's a play with them. So right now we're charging $200. There's only 38 of these left. Thank you to Thomas McCauley, says I ordered one. Chad Dyer says I dig repacks, but only from people with a good pedigree. You're 100% trustable. Now blindly buying repacks on Whatnot. I just go to the casino. Rather just go to the casino. I agree with Chad. I totally agree with Chad. And I think you have to know, you have to like the checklist. You have to know, like, here's the checklist. And if I were to spend $200 and get XYZ $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80 card, can I live with that? Right? Now, the other thing about our checklist is we have 8 hits. 8 hits out of 40 total cards, 40 total packs. One card per pack. So 8 hits out of 40. There's not just one hit, right? And these are all, and there are some big hits, like some hits where somebody will like quintuple their money. Okay. Degenerate Card Collector says, I think repacks are mostly, if not all, garbage that are B+ value at best. And I think that's fair. I want people to understand what they're getting themselves into when they get into a repack product. The plan with this particular repack is to sell out and then go live and reveal it like we did with Drop One, and Drop One went really well. And so I want you guys, if you're interested, I think it's fun. It's a bit of a gamble. It's not too big of a gamble. At worst, you'll lose maybe $100 or so. But even if you do, you'll end up with a card that could go back up to, say, $150, $160 in value based on our checklist. Right now, we're not guaranteeing that. Now, at least 8 people will double, triple, quadruple, even quintuple their money. At least 8 out of the 40. We appreciate your support. I mean, this does go to help our business as well as M.Pokeworld's business. And he is a college student, a freshman, a recent high school graduate, great hobby, friend of mine and friend of many of yours out in the nooffseason.com family. So it does help both of us, and it's fun. It's a little bit different than what we normally do. It's not necessarily a great way to make money flipping sports cards, but if you're interested in our repack product, go to nooffseason.com/repack, and we'd love it if you help us out. That'd be great. Bonafide Sports Collectibles is in the live chat at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Says, new subscriber, first time catching you live. Love your vision mission. Getting into the flipping side of the hobby, thought something like this should exist, and then found you. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you so much. That really means the world to me. I'm doing this as my full-time job. I left all of my other professions, my other grinds, my other side hustles to do this full-time, and I'm loving it, and I'm continuing to try to make the nooffseason.com premium product even better, and better without charging you guys more. Right? I'm not gonna charge more. It's always $225 a year after a free 30-day trial. It's $20 a month, and I'm just gonna keep adding more value without charging more. Scott Huff says, I just learned about you and the no off-season formula last week. Buying premium on no off-season right now. Thanks, Scott. Love you, man. You're the man. Degenerate Card Collector says, but I could also say the same about non-repackaged retail cards. Yeah, I agree. And he says, regardless, nice stream as always. Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I think the thing that I like way more about repack products is that there's a smaller business putting their name and reputation on the line. And because of that, good repackers, to Chad Dyer's point, have become strategic about providing value. And that's what we're doing. And I can't speak for others, but I can speak for ourselves. That's what we're doing. And because of that, it is a much better experience than the total lottery ticket casino rip of ripping wax. But I'll leave it up to all of you. I think everything in the hobby is allowed. So whether you're buying into breaks, whether you're buying into ripping wax yourself, whether you're buying into repacks, whether you're only buying singles, if you're learning and you're having fun and you're not putting your family in a bad position, I think, I want to hear, I want to support you and I want to hear your story. Rusty M. McGart says, so what you're saying is you put all your, this is a joke because Rusty knows I hate Aaron Rodgers. You put all your banger Aaron Rodgers cards in the repack. LOL, great show, Paul. Thanks, Rusty. Love you, man. Hoosier Card Guy says, premium at nooffseason.com is well worth it just for the Friday premium pod. My free trial wraps up soon and I'm definitely renewing. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Bill Bain says, I got a bunch of modern NFL cards to grade when I do grade. And I think Bill is talking about our benefits for paid premium members free of charge, which is our card analysis and grading submission. Basically what we do is we intake your cards for you. If you want to get them graded, we analyze them for you. We prep them for grading. We'll even crack the slabs, and it's $25 per card. So that includes your grading fee. And it basically saves you money because you don't have a minimum, you don't have a maximum, you don't have to pay the max declared value thing you don't have to worry about, and you don't have to pay the shipping fee to get them shipped back to you from the grading company, which is way more than it should be because they insure the shipping. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. For more, please go to nooffseason.com and join us every day right here on the Sports Card Strategy Show feed for our daily market updates for each sport. And stay tuned for Wednesday's show where we dig in to more of our plays to help you make money flipping sports cards, as well as already graded plays. Everybody, thanks so much and have a great day. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. To connect with us further, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Please also give us a follow on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and on X at No Off Season Card. We also have a Discord that you could join at sportscardstrategy.com. Everyone, I'm Paul Hickey. For the rest of us here at nooffseason.com, have a great day. We'll see you again soon.